Well, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. It is a Tuesday, May 2nd. Wow. Talked about this before, folks. April is gone, and here we are in the month of May. You know what they say, right? Well, showers bring May flowers. And so hope that you are doing well. Nice for you to be here. And Greg Angello here with you on the planet. This is my virtual reality podcast on video. And you can see all of our podcast videos that we have. You can go to planet1podcast.com and they are all there. And so this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've finished as far as podcasting is concerned, what's going to be coming up with that. And then also I'm going to have a little conversation with you about something that I think that we all deal with in our lives and what sort of an effect do we get from it. There's a saying out there about it, and we'll go into that. It's all right. So, but before we get there, we just finished a couple of podcasts recently. As I said, you can go to planet1podcast.com and they're there. So Stefani Boyd, who was our most recent guest, she's going to be back with us. She's going to be coming up this Thursday afternoon. We're going to be picking up where we left off, talking about the credit score adjustment program, or the LLPA, that's out there with all the controversy that is happening with that. There's, obviously you've been hearing about it on the news, and you may be talking to mortgage loan officers yourself about it, saying, how is it going to affect me? Is this really something that I should be doing, and all of that? So obviously we know something new coming into our real estate industry like this. We don't know right now what the effect is going to be until we get into it, and then we start seeing the results, right, or the feedback from it. And so right now it's too early to tell how that's going to work. I know there's been some conversation about either repealing it. There's obviously one side that doesn't want that to go forward, and so forth. So we're going to talk to Stefani a little bit more about that, and also some ways that how she handles first-time home buyers. And I think that'll be good because we are in a very, very sordid real estate market right now. I don't know if everyone in the industry was thinking about, when we got into the end of 2022 into the first quarter, that our second quarter, we were going to be really wrapping things up. We were going to have a lot of inventory, things were going to be blooming. And we don't really see that right now. We see inventory is just like low. I mean, I'm not going to say it's pathetic, but we just don't have enough activity out there for all of the agents that are out there trying to do business. And it's a huge, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for many right now because buyers, they just don't feel excited about being out there in the market with the interest rates. And now we've got buyers who feel like they're going to get pinched with this credit score adjustment. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, let's just throw all kinds of anything that you want off the shelf into the mix and turn it on like a blender, and let's see how loud and nasty it can sound. I mean, that's kind of like what's happening right now. Now, we're going to be doing another podcast coming up next week. I've scheduled also another loan mortgage officer. He is with the local here in the Carolinas. His name is Chris Bushnell. So Chris is going to be with us, and Chris has been a broker, a loan mortgage broker for a number of years, and he's got a lot of energy. This guy's got a lot of energy, and he's going to be bringing that energy to the podcast, and we're going to talk about different programs as well, and really what his take is on all of these things. Because sometimes it can get blown out of proportion, right? It's like sometimes you got to weed through all the nonsense before you can really figure it out, let all the dust settle before you really know whether or not this new LLPA or the credit score adjustment is good or bad, right? And so that's that. So hopefully that you'll be able to get involved in those. We really appreciate you going to our Planet One podcast, not only in our YouTube channel, but also out there on our podcast in audio. That's how we've got it out there. We've got Raised on Real Estate, which is our other podcast, this is sort of woven into both of them. Because I do get a lot of plays on the Raised on Real Estate because it's been out there longer and it's on so many different platforms, and Planet One is as well. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I'm sure that you and I deal with all the time when we try to help someone. And so there's a saying, and I'm sure that you've heard it before, and it's no good deed goes unpunished, right? Have you heard that one before? No good deed goes unpunished. And it's like, okay, so like, what does that mean? So it's sort of an opposite of what your intention is, sort of like what is the result of your good intention of helping someone, of the result. So it's basically a sardonic process that when you do something for someone, it kind of backfires. Like, like it's not received well, or the results of helping someone don't go well, and you hear about it. And so, like, why is that? Right? I mean, I'm sure that many of us, we're in the real estate industry. I'm in the real estate industry. And so we're in the, which is the service industry. And we're, our mindset is really about helping people. Now, this doesn't really project so much into the real estate industry. It's really about people around us, like, say, your neighbors. Look around in your neighborhood and think about that. So, and I've come across this myself. All right. Where I'm at right now in the Charlotte area, it's not the first neighborhood that I've been into. So I have been in other subdivisions and been around other neighbors. Some are friendly, some aren't, just the way that it is. So, but with the saying that no good deed goes unpunished, and that is basically a lot about, we have to view it from a position of expectations, right? Or the conversation that you have with someone about what it is that, how we can help them. Because sometimes they say yes, sure you can. And maybe in fact, they really don't want your help, but they don't want to be rude. And so they say, yeah. And so then you go along and you, whatever it is that you want to do for them. And then when it's over with, it's like, you might get some backlash. It's like, well, that's not what I expected. And you didn't do this right. And I didn't ask you to get involved in this and all of those things. And you just like, stand back and you go, whoa, like, I'm just here trying to help you. And I didn't expect this. So now I'm a believer. Okay. So in my faith, I know that loving your neighbor as yourself is a command, right? In scripture, Jesus said that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. It's not something that you should think about it first. You should write it down and contemplate, pray about it. Whatever you want to do before you do it, it's a command. Shall is a command. And so, but that is a struggle for many, many individuals, that when we do get involved and help someone, that deed gets punished. That's really what it is. And so, and this has happened to me in a number of circumstances. So it's just like, I'm someone who, like, when I see someone who looks like they are in need of help, I go and ask them if I can help them. And then sometimes you get the backlash about doing it. And so how do we handle that? What is the best way when we deal with a situation where we're going in with our really good intentions, our best intentions is to help someone? I mean, obviously you should ask first, right? Before you just jump in, like, is it okay if I help you with this, or do you need my help? Now, if they say yes, then to me, it's like, good. I'm jumping all in there. But if you do get that no good deed goes unpunished result, right? And then you sort of like, well, what is the point? Like, why should I even bother to take the time and the energy to help someone if I'm going to get, either a verbal judo about it or some sort of confrontation about it? Now, it doesn't always happen, but a lot of times it's about an expectation on both sides, right? And so that's why sometimes it's like, so I'm coming in, you're asking me to help you. How is it that you want me to help you? Do you want me to help you this much? Do you want me to help you this much? Do you want to help you this much? And it could be for anything. I mean, even if many people down in the coastal regions during a hurricane, right? When you have a hurricane go through and you've got homes that have been destroyed or rooftops destroyed. You've got debris all over the place, and neighbors are trying to help one another. to pick those things up and to clear the driveways in the streets. And, you know, it's sort of like a community come together. No one really gets, upset about helping, right? Especially if you don't have any power. Do you want to use my generator? Do you need gas? I have an extra gas can. Do you want those sort of things? So, and to me, it's always like, you should be open to receive. To me, it's a gift. When someone goes out of their way to come to you and ask you, like, can I help you? Or what is it that I can do for you? It should just be like an open arm, thank you. However you want to help me, little or large, that's great. But that's not always the case. And so to me, it's like, what is the process when you don't really get a response that you expect? Which is like, you expect a thank you and then you don't get that. It's like, well, I didn't really ask you to do that. I didn't ask you to get involved in this. And why are you here now? So sometimes the best thing to do is say, okay, thank you very much. Sorry it didn't work out. Turn around and leave. But sometimes we want to sort of have a response or a justification about why it is that we did that. It's like, well, here's why I came in to help you. I'm going to tell you, folks, that doesn't always really work, because people, if they have it in their mindset that they really don't want your help, that you are more of a bother to them than initially what it is that they wanted to have accomplished, it's best just to say, thank you, appreciate me giving you the time, and walk away. But to try to go through some sort of dialogue with them, a communication about it, or like, well, why are you upset with me? Or, I didn't expect that response, and, we're neighbors and we should love one another. And, I think that may not always be the best thing to do. Because as neighbors, you're going to probably see them again. I mean, there is probably a high probability you're going to run into them again. And for me, I don't like to have that I don't like to have friction, because I don't, to me, doesn't really go well in my overall personality, because I'm very outgoing person, very friendly. But to me, maybe that is not a great expectation to have for others, because not everyone obviously is like me. Not everyone is gregarious. Not everyone is outgoing. Not everyone is ready to knock on your door and ask you, do you need something? So I've had to learn as well to either accept that not everybody is going to respond well when you want something done. And I think that's just the way it is. The other thing that I think that is important to do when you run into a situation like that, because, it does deal with this up here. It's like, man, it's like you turn around, you walk away, and it's like, like you just get, you're walking in one direction. Now you're totally turning in the other way, and you're not feeling good about it. And so how do you handle that in that moment? Right. So if you're Christian, or if you want to pray about it, you can pray about it. I think it's also good to have someone who's a support person with you. You can get on the phone and talk to them and let them know what happened, so you can get it off your chest. And so that's my take on all that stuff, folks. I mean, expectations, receiving things, doing things for others. It's almost like we're in a society now that going out of your way to do a good deed may get punished. So maybe we should limit the amount of expectation and increase the amount of communication before jumping in, if that can happen. So that's my take on all that stuff. So your thoughts are more than welcome on that. You may have run into it before. You may say, well, this is what I do about it. This is what happened to me. I try to help my neighbor clean out something in their yard, and, they didn't like it. And, maybe there is a time later for reconciliation. I don't know. So that's it. That's what I got for you. So I wish you all a great day. And if you need anything, obviously, in real estate, feel free to reach out to me. You can go on my platform. You can send me an information communication about that. If you need some help, let me know exactly what it is that you need, so we make sure we don't go out of our lane, and go from there. And podcasting, we do it all the time. It's part of my toolbox that I use. And if you're interested in podcasting, what it's all about, and if you want to be a guest on the show, you've got a story, you've got something you want to say, you've got something that you think is going to be positive in that regard to talk about, and maybe it's a business that you have, that sort of thing, you can go to info@planetoneradio.com and hit me up. Love to hear from you and see how that goes down. All right. So wish you the best. Take care. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.